Alright, so let's get this started. Let's clear up my chart, and we're starting off with Gbp Jpy, and I use my trend lines mainly. So you're gonna go ahead and grab your trend line. I have it favorited because I use it a lot. And make sure you're on the daily time frame. So always check that so you have your charts correctly. Alright guys, actually let me show you a cool trick. You can actually click on this little pencil with the lock on it. Here, let me show you. And when you do that, you can click over and over again, and you're going to have a lot of trend lines. So it's easier than just clicking on the trend line on the top left every single time you do a trend line. So you're going to draw your first one out. Also, you can see right here, it touched there on top in the dotted line. It touched again over here 3 days in a row. So we're going to draw that line out. Okay, now go a little bit lower. You see more touches down here. You see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days worth. Then you go a little bit lower. I like to draw 3 lines below and 3 lines above if I can. Now once you have that done, you can actually let me show you a quick trick. Turn this off really fast. And when you put on a line, if you hold shift while you're doing it, it keeps it straight so it doesn't look crooked at all. So it keeps it nice and straight and neat. I'm a little tedious, so that's why you see me expanding these trend lines so they look the exact same. So now we're going to go on to the next pair, which is Euro USD. Let me clear that chart out so I can show you how to mark it up. And then I'm actually kind of tedious and I like to center it up first. So I draw my trend lines. Excuse me. And you start marking it up. So you see price on the bottom, so we're going to go to the first few touches above the price. I'm going to go lower. And yeah, we're going to press the shift, make sure it's straight. Okay, we got it there. Now if you see, that was the bottom of the wick. And we're going to go a little bit above. It's touching from the top there. And if you go a little bit more right, you see it touching from the bottom. Extend that, make sure it's the same. Zoom out because I want to put some lines below. Give me a second. Once you find your bottom, go ahead and stretch it out. Well, let me zoom out here. Okay, almost there. It's a long time since it's been that low. Don't forget to hold the shift button. It's a nice straight line, so you know you got it right. And honestly, I think that's pretty good because we don't have anything else. I mean, you want to have a nice space in between all of them. You know what? I like this one. Let me add it there. Extend it out. If it touches there, I can sell it there once it reaches that line. Expand it. That's pretty good. Let's go on to Gbp Usd. I actually already have lines here. I'm just going to move these down since they're more relevant. I'm going to put it down to the last daily close. It's good. I tried to line it up, guys. Sorry. Pretty tedious. I actually don't need that one. I'll delete it. Zoom out to the same thing. Right at the bottom right there. Grab the trend line, extend it out. Of course, if you hold shift, it's a nice straight line. It has to be a line, I'm sorry guys. Okay, you can zoom back in. That line can move a little bit shorter. Of course, it has to line up. Extending that one because it's those trend lines are actually still relevant because it hasn't touched in a good while, so those are still definitely valid. Now I do like to keep space in between just because I know I'm not going to overthink these trades, so when they hit big levels then we can play it. You see USD CAD next. Clear that up. Write the trend line. It's easy to draw these lines. Once you've done it enough, it's definitely a lot easier to just go ahead and go through them. So you start from the top, price above. You slowly make your way down. Now with this one, it's been a little bit choppy, so I'll probably wait for the big move. But all these levels have not been touched yet, so just going to use those definitely. You see there's one more below. This is where price is currently at, so we're probably going to ignore this line until it touches from a different side for sure. Now let's put price one below the price. Let's see here, it's kind of choppy. You also want to get the candlesticks that are most relevant, most recent. So if you go back too far, that's not going to really work. Okay, it's pretty good. Touch there, touch there. A little bit lower now. This is technically resistance. It actually broke through recently. So we'll use this because it touched so many times before. So if you see a resistance zone, look more to the left and try to find places where it touched beforehand so you can kind of perfect it. The spacing is correct. Right there is perfect for a support. Plenty of touches, so we're going to go ahead and write the trend line there. Make sure it's aligned because I'm a little OCD with that stuff. And moving on to gold, it actually went down. I lost that trade. No, I was break even that trade actually. Let's go ahead and just add more to the bottom because it is looking bearish. Not fully bearish. Add a line there because you see the resistance and then it turns into support. You want a little bit more space in between so you know these prices is going to actually bounce off of it all the way through. Delete that since we don't need it. That was from last week. One more to go. US 30. This pair, my buddy Danny loves to trade this pair. This is his favorite. So I don't really trade this much, but I'm going to draw it up just to keep track of what he's doing. My boy Danny, y'all, he's going to be a big trader soon. I can feel it. Marking up these charts really quick at the bottom of the wick because indices like to wick a lot. Those prices are significant. You see a bunch of wick touches there. Oops. That's 3 below price. Let's go above now. You see it there perfectly. It was resistance, then it became support. Definitely significant. Most recent candle, don't forget, it was support and it was resistance for a bit, so it still counts. It's extended this way. You see all of those, see? Supports and resistances. Those count. Now at the very top, you have resistance there, and that's 3 lines, and that should be valid enough for the rest of the week.